Hey, today on the Pin Man, I am going to do a review, not a review, but a comparison on these two pins. Now, you may be thinking, well, you just compared the Pilot Explorer with another pin recently, and that is true. But in the comments, and so you know that I'm reading your comments, somebody mentioned about a comparison between the Pilot Explorer and the Pilot Metro. And I thought, that might be a pretty decent comparison there, because they both, generally speaking, run $25. So they are very much alike price-wise. And so let's go ahead and take a look, because if you have $25 to spend on a Pilot, an economical Pilot pin, which one would you choose and why? What are the pros and cons of each? Not really going to be talking about cons necessarily, but anyway, we'll take a look at these. Okay, so the price, both are $25, as I just said. Okay, here's where they differ. Is the Explorer is, get the Pilot right side up there. The Explorer is mostly plastic, and the Metro is mostly metal. Their links are almost exactly the same. The Pilot Explorer is just a tad bit longer at 142 millimeters, and the Metro is 138 millimeters overall. They both have snap caps. We'll talk about those in a minute. Uncapped, again, the Explorer is a tad bit longer at 128 millimeters. The Metro at 125 millimeters. Posted, and they do both post securely. The pretty big difference here. The Explorer is 162 millimeters, and the Metro is 152 millimeters. All right, so 10 millimeters longer. So, which is, since it's plastic, it really doesn't, as far as feel in the hand, it doesn't make that much of a difference. The Metro can be somewhat back-weighted, but not irritably so. But obviously being all metal, but it does post fairly deeply, so that helps for it. And the Explorer, not quite as deep, but enough. As far as their filling systems, another similarity, they both take the Pilot Con B, and I would imagine you'd be able to use a Con 40, and I would imagine you could use any of them. Those are pretty deep barrels on each one of them, so you could probably use a Con 70, I would think. Don't quote me on that, but a 40, Con 40, Con 50 should be able to fit in those, each one of those fine. It sits in there securely. I just had it kind of resting in there. All right. Again, their threaded areas here are both plastic. The Metro's all metal, so some of you might be a little paranoid about eyedroppering that if that's your thing. Whereas the Pilot Explorer is all plastic, so a little more peace of mind as far as eyedroppering the Explorer. All right, let's see, his filling system. Again, the capping system, both of them have snap caps. The Metro is a little crisper, I would say. and takes a little more effort, but not much. I mean, it easily caps one-handed. The Explorer is the more pleasant. It's not as loud, and it just caps smoother. The clips are both metal. Now, in my last comparison, and I'd have to go back and check my review on the Explorer, but I call this a plastic because when you kind of scrape it, I don't know, hear that anyway, and I just figured, it's all plastic, that this is plastic. Well, it's not. And I got to looking at it a little not too long ago, and it's like, man, that's not plastic, that's metal. Okay, so so anyway, sorry about that. We're always learning, right? Okay, so the Metro has what I recently read one guy describing this type of clip as a staple clip, and that makes sense because it would have prongs going in, and then those prongs would be, pushed in or pushed to the side or whatnot to hold this clip in there. The Metro clip is pretty stiff, and the Explorer is maybe not quite as stiff. They're pretty similar though. Both the clips though have a nice curvature at the base that makes it easier to get on the pockets, and a reverse curve further in to pull them back out. As far as the grips, they're very similar. Now where the cap clips at is on the end there, so it just comes to rest on these. I would consider this chrome section part of the grip. So with that, the grip lengths are about the same. Now the width is only about in the middle, so I measured in the middle of the black area on the Metro, and that was 8.5 millimeters, and right about here on the Explorer it's 9 millimeters, so a half a millimeter difference. And so it's hard to tell much difference, but the Explorer does feel a little girthier on the grip than the Metro. The body, again, the Pilot is a little bit longer, so if you're riding with it unposted, you're going to have that little bit of extra down there at the finials to play with. And let's see, the body on the Metro starts out at 11.5 millimeters and comes about here, and then it starts a more noticeable taper down to where my fingernail is, and that is about 8 millimeters, whereas the Explorer starts out at 12 millimeters, so that's a half millimeter more, and then it's straight till about here, and then it wants to taper down, and at the end, just before the black cap there, at the end of the color section there, it's 9 millimeters. So 12 to 9, and then 11.5 to 8. So it's a millimeter more down here, half millimeter more up here. So when you're holding them, you do notice the Metro does feel a little thinner than the Explorer. The Explorer, obviously being mostly plastic, feels lighter. So it depends on if you want something that feels a little thinner or a little thicker. All right. Now, again, on these grips, They're both plastic, so you don't have to worry about the metal slip. Another difference on these pens is the available colors that you can get these in. The Pilot Explorer comes in about 6 different colors, at least the last I checked. And then the Metropolitan comes, I don't know, it's a bunch. 12, 15, I don't know. The Metro has these different themes as well on the band. They have some that are more subdued, more business-like, I guess you could say, than some that are what they call pop colors, real bright. And so, you know, you have more variety with the Metro, but, you know, you got enough colors in the Explorer to fit your fancy, I guess you could say. And they're all this kind of this metallic color there. So it's pretty nice. All right, how about a writing sample? Yeah. Okay, we'll start with the Metro. We're going to be using Horizon Blue, and as I pointed out on my last video, this is a little bit out of focus, but that's because I'm focusing on the paper. But anyway, if you turn your nib upside down, if you're just going to do a nib test, dip, turn it upside down as you put it in the ink and let it sit there just for a second, and it usually work pretty good. Okay, so we got the Pilot Metro MR Coon, and I'm using Monteverde, if I can spell it right, Horizon Blue. Now this is a medium nib. It's a Japanese medium, so can be toward the finer side, but you know, no problems, hard starts or skips, writes well. Wet enough, but it's kind of hard to judge at because it's not pulling from a converter. Reverse writing. Little bit of feedback there. Kind of scratchy. All right, so there's your Pilot Metropolitan. Now, Pilot Explorer. And again, this is a medium. Monteverde Horizon Blue. I didn't re-dip this for the reverse. I guess I should. Okay, yuck. So you can see there that they're the same nibs. So there's really not much comparison, although you can see it seems like the Metro wanted to flow a little better on the Metro, but the Explorer was fine. But again, here on the reverse writing, so I don't know if the tines are a little tighter on my Explorer or not, but such as it is. All right. So there you go. You got the Pilot Explorer and the Pilot Metropolitan. Both great pens. If you like a less weight with a little more girth, go with the Explorer. If you like more weight with slightly less girth feeling, go, and more color variations, go with the Metro. All right. Thanks for watching. You have a great day.